And hello, welcome to another episode of Mike Sports. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by Landry. How you doing tonight, Landry?
I'm ready to talk about the first week of a crazy football.
Yeah, lots of craziness, including a couple teams coming out a little sluggish, and one team putting up a 50 spot in week one.
Yeah,
Of course, it's the same team we predicted right off the bat would be awesome, and we all loved Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. And so, let's jump right into week one. Let's talk a little bit about the Ravens. Did you learn more about how the Ravens, if they're good, or if it just shows you the Dolphins are just really hot garbage?
Well, in my opinion, I never debated whether the Miami was hot garbage, so I learned a lot about the Ravens.
Okay.
Some people say, is Miami Dolphins even a professional team at this point?
Could they be well, obviously they'd be the only team to, in their franchise history, go 17-0, undefeated, and now this year could they go 0-16?
I mean,
I know
if they do, I will be pissed if Don Shula doesn't pop champagne.
I feel like if they go 0-16, then the Dolphin players from the 72 team have no right to pop champagne if nobody goes undefeated.
Yeah. No, and I think that's fair.
Yeah. Because, by the way, I know we've talked about that. I absolutely hate that tradition. You should never be celebrating another team, other teams' failures.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, I just wish it was another team doing it, like the Steelers or something, like someone Iron Curtain. Give me the Bears from the 80s. Yeah. Like, give me someone that is historic and had a good run overall, and isn't just like this one team off in the distance that you can barely even see. And then you're like, right. I'm in the middle of a desert. Is that water on a palm tree? Oh no, it's the Dolphins. It's like, you're looking for that. Yeah. Like, give me someone legit. Give me a legit dynasty that made that record. Unfortunately, it was a one and done team.
Well, they did win back-to-back Super Bowls, but like you said, that was at a time like it wasn't the Steelers of the 70s, it wasn't the Cowboys of the 90s, it wasn't even like say the Green Bay Packers of the 60s. It was
I guess what I mean by my comment is how many people go, man, remember that Dolphins team?
Oh, I know.
I don't know anybody.
But the thing is, if the Patriots had gone undefeated in 2007, I mean, they would have been that would have been, one of the historic teams of all time.
Yeah.
And even though the Dolphins are the only undefeated team, when people talk about the best teams of all time, even people who were alive then, I never hear my dad when he talks about the greatest teams he ever saw play, he doesn't talk about the 72 Dolphins.
Yeah, that's why I said there's only really, in my opinion, two real records for the Patriots left to break to be basically in an echelon that probably will never be touched because they have too many super records. Right. That would be going undefeated and winning 3 Super Bowls in a row. To me, those are the only real records for them to get, other than just adding more hardware to their hands. Yeah,
and maybe, if they were to win 7, that would pass the Steelers for most Super Bowls.
Well, how did you feel about the Steelers Patriots game?
Well, that was a real butt kicking. I was a little surprised. I thought the Patriots might start off a little sluggish. They usually do.
Yeah.
And I thought this could be a game. I still thought the Patriots might win because I think the Steelers are missing some weapons. They're going to try to figure out if they can replace Le'Veon Bell and of course Antonio Brown, who we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
And man, the Patriots look sharp, and it probably, I think they're going to be right back there, again, come January, February.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're looking at, like I said, I've always been an admirer of their success, but I'd like to see somebody else have a chance. And I never thought I'd say have a chance as in get there and hopefully can beat the Patriots. No, I think at some point, put it this way, I think most teams, the Eagles, the Cowboys, 2 out of 3 times would lose to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. We might get 1 out of the 3, but two out of the 3, they're probably going to beat us just at a system alone. And that's what I'm saying. Like any team that comes and beats the Patriots once, I just think if they had the same game played 3 times, the Patriots are going to get 2 of them because they're just that kind of system.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what the Patriots did, and it's amazing how many times they've reinvented themselves over the course of this dynasty. Yeah. I mean, the only 2 constants have been Brady and Belichick. Everybody else on that roster has changed, and it's changed repeatedly. And it just speaks to, the cohesiveness that they build there in that locker room. That a guy like Tom Brady they just keep doing it over and over again. When it started off, it was, hey, this good defense, and Brady just didn't kill him. And then it turned into, okay, this is a high-functioning offense with guys like Randy Moss and company. And then it turned into, okay, well, we're going to run the 2 tight end set with Gronkowski and the guy who, I will mention him, Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
And then it turns into, okay, we've got a slew of running backs that we'll use, and we'll just survive at wide receiver. And now this year, again, they'll have Edelman. They have Josh Gordon, assuming he stays clean, and Antonio Brown now joins the mix. They just continue to reinvent themselves throughout the course of this dynasty, and
they're smart because they signed most players to 1-year deals.
Mm-hmm.
So they are okay with transferring, whereas other teams try to lock superstars in. And what Bill Belichick seems to do, let me get you on the later half of your career when you're a little more seasoned.
Mm-hmm.
And in combination with our system, you're still a superstar even at your age. So I think they look at it like it doesn't matter when we get you, as long as you still have some of that talent, our system will take care of the rest.
Yeah, it certainly seems like their system combined with great talent, which, I mean, look, you can say that about a lot of systems. A lot of systems will look good if there's great talent around it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I still think, people who gave credit to the run and shoot when Warren Moon was running it in Houston, I think that's just a credit to how good a quarterback Warren Moon was, not how great the system was of the run and shoot.
Yeah.
And just like if Joe Montana wasn't the quarterback that started the West Coast offense, would it still be, hanging around in some form around the NFL now?
Yeah. So look, I'm gonna bring up my new list of top 10s,
mm-hmm.
and each one we'll talk about what game they were in.
Okay.
Right. So at number 10, I have the Texans, and let me say this. First of all, if they don't get an offensive line for Deshaun Watson, you're going to see Deshaun Watson go the way of Andrew Luck. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's suffering too many hits. Like every 6th or 7th hit he takes, it looks like he has a little bit of a longer time getting up from it. I'm like, eventually this guy's going to be done. He's going to be cooked if you don't fix the offensive line. But I will say this. I do think the Texans are a better team than the Saints. I think the Saints had a late-type comeback, but the Texans, to me, were clearly the better team on the field. They just didn't play the better game, and they didn't play it all through. And I remember I was sitting at the bar watching Deshaun Watson throw 2 passes for a touchdown, and my first comment was, you just gave Drew Brees too much time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my first thought too. And what was with that defensive calls? It's like they were aware that the Saints only needed a field goal, right?
Yeah, it's that. This is why I said the Texans are to me 2 moves away from being like a true contender. One being getting a real offensive line, and number 2 getting a new head coach.
Yeah. I know you've been on the anti-Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, I seem to be on the fire all Texas head coaches across the board around here.
I'm wondering what your feeling is on Todd Herman.
I'm going to get there. We can talk college football you want to.
Absolutely. We can certainly talk college football tonight.
Yeah. I'll finish my top 10, and then we'll jump into college. Number 9, I have the Chargers. I don't really have a lot to say about their game. I just think they're number 9.
Okay.
Number 8, I got Green Bay. Yeah. I think Green Bay showed some poise. They showed that we can go on a field with a team that's got a pretty good defense. Now, Trubisky didn't look that great to me, but their defense certainly looked like they could, play the game. And the Bears brought the D.
That game, I think that a lot of people were saying they thought that game was really boring and ugly and sloppy, a lot like what they talked about the Super Bowl this past year, Super Bowl 53, Patriots-Rams. And I think, much like you pointed out to me at the time, you were a big fan of that game, saying it was a good defensive battle. I think the Bears-Packers game was just two good defenses going at it.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, I picked the Bears to win that game. I thought the Bears would take it at home.
Yeah, so
their
did I.
defense. I thought Trubisky and the coach were on the rise of being a better team. Trubisky certainly didn't look like that great of a quarterback in that game to me, though.
No, he didn't have a good week one. Obviously, one bad game doesn't make a bad quarterback, just like one good game doesn't make a good quarterback. But yeah, he didn't have a great night opening night. Not a good first impression, and on a national stage like that.
Yeah. So number 7, I got the Ravens. Kind of already talked to them. I will say this: I picked Lamar Jackson to not be. I thought Lamar Jackson would go the way of RG3. Personally, I thought he would do his runs. He'd get smacked a couple times, get a couple broken ribs, start to back off his running, which would make him a less effective quarterback. And so far, and I'm not going to judge him. I think I need at least 4 weeks of games under his belt as a starter to really say he's a true success.
Right. He
played. Everybody's praising the Ravens and whatnot. I'm like, no one's mentioning that they played the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
So until I see some real teams under his belt defeated with the same kind of, maybe not, by 40 points, but let's say some 25-point wins, then I'll say this kid has taken this offense in a new direction that may be unstoppable right now.
Okay, so all right, that was who were they? Number 7?
That was number 7. Number 6, I got the Vikings.
Okay.
That the Vikings played some solid football this week.
Yeah, playing the Falcons. The Falcons are a different team on the road than they are at home. They're a much less efficient team when they get outside of the Mercedes-Benz Dome.
And that seems to go with this whole, and granted they were playing in a dome, but just dome teams don't do good on the road to me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I've felt that way for a long time.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember there were some records of dome teams in playoff games outdoors, and it was just ridiculously lopsided on how bad they do.
Yeah. Number 5, I got the Rams. I thought the Rams didn't look as good as last year, but they look solid enough to still be, in a top 5 to me.
Okay.
They don't look like they're suffering from a Super Bowl hangover, which was good to see. And that could be just the psychology of the team, given who their coach is.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't get caught up in the moment too much. Or what I should say is he doesn't get caught up in looking back to it. He is very moment and situationally focused.
Yeah, he's definitely not a dweller.
Yeah.
He's definitely like, what's been done is in the past and what we're doing is right now. Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what, especially a Super Bowl losing team needs is, forget about how close you were last year. You got to start to climb again. Yeah. And it's just 1 week, 1 day at a time, win that practice and win that drill. And I think that's what Sean McVay does a good job with.
Number 4, I got the Cowboys. They're up on my list.
Yeah, they definitely jumped on your list.
I think I had them at 8 last week. I got them at number 4. They look better offensively than I expected. And their defense still looks undersized to me, but they look faster, more energetic than last year to me.
Okay.
Yep. And when they were playing, all bias aside, I was just like, wow, when you look at their offensive line and Jason Witten being back, Mr. Consistency, and then you throw Gallup. Yeah, you throw Gallup and Cooper out there, and they were hitting on all cylinders. I didn't really see a lot of rustiness. I didn't see a lot. They came out ready to play football.
Yeah, they all seemed focused and ready. They were happy to have the Ezekiel Elliott saga behind them, and it just seemed like it's like they'd all breathed a breath of fresh air, and they were just ready to play some football.
Yeah, they were very Ziku to me.
Yeah.
All right. So next, number 3, I have the Eagles. And the Eagles looked rough in the start, but I look at it as, first of all, Cowboys and Eagles to me have always been second half teams. With current personnel, they have been, not like
right. Yeah, in the last few years. Yeah.
And at the same time, I felt like once they got that rusty first quarter off them, the cylinder slowly started pumping. The train started getting a little more coal in it, and then once that train got rolling, the Redskins were like, it's like the Redskins just laid down because they were getting smacked.
I tell you what, and I was down there, of course, since I am at all Eagles home games, but man, there was a feel in that stadium when Carson hit Deshaun. I remember before that play, they're down 17-0. I said to my dad, I said, man, just get me one before halftime. Just get me one before halftime, and I'll feel okay. And it was on the third down play. I almost compared it to like if you're playing Madden and you're like, oh man, I'm trying to do some different thing. You know,
just bomb it.
I'm just gonna bomb it.
You bomb it, get all that motor. It's really cool because I got to saw, Wentz got to stretch the field a little bit with Deshaun. Deshaun Watson. Deshaun looked like he was very, very comfortable to be back home. Is the way he looked to me, and natural chemistry with Wentz. It looks like he has, but I mean, he's a hell of a receiver. Period.
Right, he's just a phenomenal receiver. But
It
definitely seemed to be that connection. Carson and Deshaun Jackson look like they've been playing together for years.
Yeah, they look like they throw some backyard football before they came to the game. Like they're already warmed up and in sync. Now, second half, they felt like that. I'm real curious to see the Eagles in their first half in the next game if they come out slow, or if this was just a first game jittery, shaking off the rust, or if this is they need to be warmed up before they start flying. Every game.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting. Number 2, I got Kansas City Chiefs. I had them at number 1 last week. I got them at number 2 this week.
I feel like I know who's going to be number 1.
Obviously, I mean Mahomes. Mahomes looks still to me like the best player in the NFL.
Yeah. He still looks like the MVP.
And number 1 is I have the Patriots. And I did not have the Patriots number 1. I had Kansas City above them, but I'm looking at them now, and especially, and this is before I even knew about Antonio Brown when I made my list. Now I just put an asterisk next to him. Not only are they number 1 now, they're in some like godlike hemisphere now that people don't even recognize. Like you got to talk to like a gatekeeper to even get to the level they're at now.
I feel like there's less of a gap between number 2 and number 3 than there is between number 2 and number 1.
I feel like they are true defending champions with an asterisk, and the asterisk is Antonio Brown because he obviously won there last year. So I went ahead and updated my Madden with new rosters and to get Antonio Brown put on the Patriots so I could do some mock play between the Cowboys and the Patriots. Because I've always wanted to see the Pats and the Cowboys play a Super Bowl together so we can decide who's really America's team since we're red, white, and blue, Boston – Patriot on the helmet, and then you got the star of America. I'm like, let's once and for all, let's have a throwdown and find out who America's team is walking off the field. So I would be very happy, obviously, as a Cowboys fan, but I just think the two teams would be a good matchup in general.
It would be a great story. And I mean, obviously for me, a Philadelphian, that would be a little hard to swallow. Like, who do I root for?
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be an interesting game.
Yeah, I always go for my division. So I always root for NFC. That's how I decide in a Super Bowl. If it's not my teams, who am I going to go for? I'm going to stand on my side of the fence of my conference. But I will say this, and we'll segue into Antonio Brown after this because I got asked this during the game about Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the league, in my opinion.
Sure, I agree.
Ezekiel Elliott is the best all-around back, in my opinion. If I go pure running, I'm going Saquon Barkley. If I'm going catching, blocking, I mean,
blocking is where
I always challenge people, watch Zeke block. It's like he wants to take your head off. He's crazy the way he blocks. And it's like he was built to stop blitzes. It's really cool.
And I don't think Saquon's necessarily bad at blocking, but I think Ezekiel Elliott loves the blocking. It just looks like he enjoys it.
It takes me back to the first preseason game he ever played when he was going after Cam Chancellor of the Seahawks. Like, bring it, hitting helmets, like, bring it. I love hitting.
Yeah, he takes it as a challenge. It's like everything he does. It's like he wants to be the best at it, and you got to admire that. He just wanted to say, okay, I got a block on this play. Well, I'm gonna punch somebody in the mouth.
That's true.
And I get a kick out of it. As a pure football fan, it's good to see.
Yeah. So with number 1 being the Patriots, Antonio Brown being their new addition, let's segue into Antonio Brown.
Yeah, what a
I'm going to scratch my head real quick. I don't know what topic we're about to cover about him, but I'm going to scratch my head before we start.
What a difference a week makes. This time a week ago, we were very much still prepared for Antonio Brown to take the field on Monday Night Football, the second game of Monday night against the Oakland Raiders. And I feel like since neither one of those teams, cracked the top 10 as they shouldn't have, it it was such a bizarre thing, like to watch unfold. I remember seeing Saturday morning, like I'm watching college game days and getting ready to watch all the college football games. And I see the little thing go across the bottom of the screen. Antonio Brown's been released.
Yeah.
All this after a big argument between him and Mike Mayock.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, is a good personal friend of the Phillyverse. So, big shout out to Mike Mayock.
Let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
Do you think this was premeditated, or do you think this is simply, I got fined, I got pissed, we got in an argument, I wanted out?
Part of me thinks that this is all a premeditated thing, that him just wanting I think he wants, we talked about this, that he wants to have it where NFL players have the same kind of control the NBA players have.
Right.
Where he wants to be able to basically dictate where he goes. And he did not have a chance to dictate it because the Pittsburgh Steelers traded into the Raiders. So I think he was going to do whatever he could to get himself released, to cause a stink, to be just a complete distraction, get released, because he wanted to go to the Patriots. And then there it was, just hours later, he signed by New England. It reeks of a conspiracy. That being said, having heard everything he says and the way he talks, I don't know that the man's capable of putting together that many coherent thoughts to come up with this. If this was the plan, this was somebody else's plan. It wasn't his.
I personally don't think it was premeditated until the fines came. And then I think he talked to his agent about what moves can we make to get me out of here. And I think, when he got the fines, he thought, I'm such a unique talent. Why would the rules that apply to everybody apply to me? And I think that he needs to feel like the rules don't apply to him. And I think the reason he feels like that, now a lot of people might go, well, he's going to the Patriots. And I go, yeah. When he's on a non-winning franchise, he feels like that should be the case.
Right.
I think with going somewhere that the system doesn't need him, that he just makes the system better, but in the end of the day, they can release him and still get to the Super Bowl. That will humble him because he will want the ring over his drama. And the ring makes him go into a higher status of, I will be in the Hall of Fame and I will have a Super Bowl attached to my name. And I think he needs that. And I think he's like, the Pats can give it to me. Just like a lot of other, like Jason Long and guys like that, going there, getting it, and then leaving because they're no fun. Well,
I look at it almost like Antonio Brown sees himself as a brand. Like, not just a guy, not just
like OBJ.
Yeah. And how do you strengthen your brand? By being on a winning team. And then by being on that winning team, you're participating in more games. You're playing in the playoffs. You're getting more of a prime time spot.
I'm confused. So you're saying, how do you build your brand? So it's not by wearing a watch during a football game?
No, probably not.
Okay. I want to make sure I got that clear.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that question. That was an important one to get through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like building his brand, like,
because I started wearing a watch because I just thought that's what makes me a better person and player and builds my brand.
Well, clearly I'm not worrying about my brand as I'm not wearing any watches.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So on Antonio Brown, look, I think once he was a free agent, there were two other ball clubs aggressively talking to him. I am willing to bet the Cowboys are one of them, just from rumors down here.
I would imagine so.
I don't know who the other team was.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to have $15 million to give out for that year. And
you look around the teams that could afford it and teams that are considered good teams. The Eagles would make sense in that category. I don't think the Eagles were ever all that interested.
I don't think so either. They don't really need Antonio Brown, but a lot of teams don't need what he brings. But hey, if anybody can control him, it's probably the Patriots.
Oh, that's the thing.
I've seen Mojo, Cinco, Moscow there and get real quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah, lots of guys. It's funny, the outspoken guys. The only one I didn't really see that work for was Chad Johnson.
Yeah. Well, and look, here's the deal. I think what happens is you go to other teams and you got guys like Gruden and Tomlin who are trying to like make peace with him and whatnot. And you got Bill Belichick going, do it my way or bye.
Yeah, that's the thing. And Antonio Brown has to kind of buy into that system. Otherwise, you're going to be gone because nothing comes ahead of the system. I remember a couple of years ago now, now it's not going to happen this way, but I believe it was Colin Cowherd made the case that eventually Bill Belichick would be willing to part ways with Tom Brady because it would mean to prolong the dynasty. And at the time, it was they still had Jimmy Garoppolo under contract.
Yeah.
And that was supposedly going to be the plan, that he was going to be okay getting rid of Tom Brady at the right time, because why wouldn't it make sense? They get rid of everybody else at the right time just to say, okay, well, here's the next guy in line.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's true. Look, the Patriots have three consistencies, really. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Robert Kraft. After that, everybody's expendable, I think.
Right.
And Brady eventually will become expendable, but he's been obviously a consistent for them because of, I think, Robert Kraft's personal relationship with him. And, we can go back and talk about Garoppolo. Yeah. What we think happened there and whatnot. But to me, that's 2018 news. I don't care anymore. But in 2019, when I looked at him, I said, hey, the Pats gave Brady a contract, but notice they didn't give it to him to 45. They cut him like a year short. And then even the last year of that is questionable of that contract. So it's one of those.
Right. They can get out of it if they want.
Yeah,
we've talked about this before. I think that when it's over for Tom Brady, it's not going to be a slight regression. And like that he's settling his. I think it's going to be he goes from MVP caliber to, oh my God, what happened to Tom Brady? Much like what happened with Peyton Manning.
Or maybe he may have picked 45 because his wife and him agreed that I will stop harassing you to quit football if we can agree on when you're going to quit football so I can set my expectations around that. And I would imagine that Giselle probably, when he told her 45, and she's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, 45. So what's that? Three and a half more years of his career?
Right.
I think that makes Giselle go, okay. And I think Robert Kraft now knows that. So Robert Kraft's like planning for the future. And Bill Belichick's going, yeah, but I still need to have it in the contract in case he declines before that.
Oh, right. I mean, just because he says he's going to play till he's 45, that doesn't mean his body's not going to say, nah, dude, 43, we're done.
Yeah. And, I think they have a kid on their team right now that's being kind of, bred in the wings and whatnot. It's going to be funny. The conversation around the Patriots, I think, will become if another quarterback takes over after Tom Brady and has success. Has 10, 11 win seasons with Belichick, 3 years in a row.
Tom Brady really the greatest of all time?
Exactly. I think that'll be the next conversation. Yeah. Now, the first two seasons suck for the Patriots. They're barely getting 8 to 9 wins and barely getting a wild card or no playoff. And then I think we can all cement that as, well, Bill Belichick without Tom Brady is, Dick Cheney with
chance they retire at the same time. Because I still think that part of what happened like Chase Daniels, when he was supposed to go take the coaching job in Indianapolis, he was going to go be the new Colts coach. Yeah. And he decided not to take that job mysteriously and then left it open for Frank Reich to take the job.
No, because Bill Belichick and him.
Because Bill Belichick and I think it had
Yeah. And then, what I'm curious is if they said, Bill Belichick said something like, I'm leaving around this, 2-year period, like, 2020 or 2021, whatever. Or if he said, or if Robert Kraft just said, when he does retire, you're guaranteed. I'll even give you a personal contract right now. Like if that doesn't happen, I'll pay for all your years you could have had extra money or some shit like that. Right. Because think about it. I think Daniels is making $3-something million right now. And Bill Belichick is I want to say $11 million paid coach, somewhere around there. So let's say he's out
10.5, 11, something like that.
Yeah, let's say he's out $7 million a year, and let's say Robert Kraft's going, okay, should that become the case because you're not part of a cap, I can just write you a $21 million check. Should we change our mind? For 3 years where you could have had head coach salary. And you got to remember, Robert Kraft can write that easily outside of the cap. To personally,
sure, because coaches' salaries doesn't count against your cap at all.
So I sit there and I say, well, shit. It's like the Yankees, in baseball and whatnot. You can go get all the best players. You can afford everything. So who can stop you? So getting back to the point we're making is when will the Patriots start to decline? I'll tell you what I won't do. I won't do like where the game where Brady played the Kansas City Chiefs and lost 41 to like 20 something, and everybody's like, "That's it. He hit his cliff." I'll never be the guy that when the Patriots have a bad game to say Brady hit his cliff at all until Brady plays a game entirely bad season from start to finish will be the only time you're ever going to hear me say. Even if he had 4 bad games, I'm going to go, nah, this guy has this weird ability to make a milkshake with protein supplements in it, and the next game is like a freaking superhero with a cape. You know?
I told you, just like in Super Bowl 51 against the Atlanta Falcons, my friend who was going to leave our place early, I looked over and said, yeah, dude, Tom Brady is a bad man.
Yeah.
And they make the huge comeback and went. He's one of those. He's like the villain in the movies that just you can't kill him.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, like you decapitate him, you set him on fire.
I don't know if you ever watched Avengers: Infinity War.
Yeah.
So at the end, when Thanos.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well,
All right. Anyways, what I was saying, we got cut off by. I got a little power surge over here where I'm at. Thunderstorm kind of killed me off. But what I was saying about, if you've seen Infinity War Avengers, Thanos comes in the end. There's a great video where Jared Goff, it shows him like dropping back or whatnot, and he's about to throw the ball and score. And he's looking at defenders and whatnot. He's like, boom. He's like, we made like a 20-yard run or something. And then there's a bunch of smoke, and Thanos' body comes out with Brady's head on it. And then you just see Goff's face get really sad, like, oh, I'm gonna get defeated. And I kind of feel like Brady kind of has that effect, and Brady has that temperament of, oh no, I still got this, in the worst of circumstances. So
that all suddenly makes a lot of sense. I remember that part in the movie.
Yeah, it's when Thor comes at the very end. He's like, I'm gonna take Thanos out. I got this. Nope. Right. You should have aimed for the head, he tells him. Wrong spot, buddy. Yeah. But, look, we could talk the Patriots to death. Everybody knows we're good. What I'm curious of, who, at this point, who do we think can beat the Patriots?
Well, not to sound too much like a homer, but if the Eagles play the way they did in the second half, they can hang with anybody in football.
Yeah. I got I think my last 3, other than the Patriots, I think Cowboys, Eagles, Kansas City. I think either 3 of those teams can take it in current form. Obviously, we have a lot of football to go before.
Sure. Like different. Cowboys, the Cowboys would have a good shot at them. They play ball control offense with Ezekiel Elliott.
I tell you what, if the Eagles and the Cowboys, if this is a sign of who they are, then I take back my NFC Championship prediction. I think it will be us 2 against each other.
That would be fantastic. I would love that NFC title game.
Yeah. Well, I will back up one of my statements. I do think the Saints suck still, regardless of what you saw Monday night.
Okay.
I think Breeze is obviously an all-timer, but I don't think the supporting cast is going to get them close to where they were last year.
Yeah, I still agree. I think there's a chance for the Super Bowl hangover to be applied to the Saints with all that emotion that they put in.
They played at home. I mean, let's get them in some road games. And NOLA is a great place to play football. It's loud. It's extremely supportive. Mm-hmm. It's a very tight, small stadium. So it always feels like, they got the wind at their back coasting along. Let's get them out of that stadium, get them somewhere else, and let's see if that Super Bowl hangover takes over.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. The Saints, they're a very emotional team. I feel like if you get them out of that home environment and put them in a hostile environment on the road, I feel like you're going to see a different Saints team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, out of everything going on in week one, when I think of week one, just like I close my eyes, I'm like, what stands out to me? I'm like, Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ravens, Pats, and that's probably really it. I mean, the Eagles look really good, the Cowboys look really good, but Ravens, Pats are the first two teams that come to my brain.
Everybody else was kind of as advertised. The
Yeah.
Patriots were better than advertised, as were the Ravens. I mean,
the Cowboys are a little better than I thought they'd be, but they also played the Giants. I want to see them play a couple more like legit contenders, and let's see what they do against them.
They've got the Redskins this Sunday.
Yeah.
In
Who are the Eagles playing this week?
The Falcons on Sunday Night Football. I'll actually be down there in Atlanta. Me,
awesome.
and a friend of mine. Yeah, we're going down.
Nice. I think that well, first of all, I think y'all can beat Atlanta. I think Atlanta shows some weakness this week.
I think we can beat Atlanta. They're a different team at home than they are on the road. They lost at Minnesota.
Well, I'm always going to say, hey, any team at home, even some of the worst teams, not counting the Miami Dolphins, so I'm not even sure a professional football team anymore. Most teams at home are always going to have a shot, even when they're having a bad season, because they're at home. Let's talk about something we haven't. The Browns. What the hell?
Yeah, they were a disappointment. They fell out of your top 10.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I watched that game and Baker Mayfield 3 interceptions.
Yeah, not good for my fantasy team, by the way, Baker.
Odell Beckham, to me, was the worst person for him to throw to because Jarvis Landry was tearing it up. When he got to Odell, all of a sudden production just dropped on their team. Which begs the question that I've always said. I've always thought Odell's a little overrated.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does a good brand management for himself, which helps the hype machine stay real for him. But I think Jarvis Landry is the better receiver, even though people like to talk about him as number 2. I'm like, no, I think he's the better receiver. Okay, there's some bias. He's got my last name, but still.
He's been very quietly one of the most productive receivers over the last several years.
Yeah.
And especially on some garbage teams when he was with the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's very true. But he's always been productive. And he produces. So there's that. And then, I got to admit, this is my main concern. They had a lot of freaking penalties, and this goes back to Freddie Kitchens, in my opinion, not being the kind of head coach to get shit tightened and buttoned up.
Yeah.
Yep, that was my main concern.
Well, I mean, it still remains to be seen. Freddie Kitchens, is he just a good offensive coordinator who's gotten promoted to the highest level of ineptitude?
Yeah.
That whole business philosophy I know you're familiar with. People keep getting promoted. They're one level above where they should be.
Yeah.
I think Kitchens, that might be the case. He should be an offensive coordinator, but he was a good coordinator, so he got promoted.
People, I feel sorry for the Browns fans. I mean, they really thought, hey, we're going to come out swinging this year, and they got obliterated. I will give Baker credit on when he did come to the podium. He took full ownership. He didn't back off it. Basically called himself out, said he sucked. He didn't say any other names, went at himself. But I'm like, man, that's the political thing to do. Like, get on the field and freaking win and stop talking about how good you are as a team. Like, win. And I think with the Browns, I'm like, and Odell Beckham and all these people, I'm like, I don't care about your watch, your brand, who you are, where you went to college. Win football games. That is your only objective.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to say it. All those other things, the being a great leader and great person, like those are all great things that you do in college. In the NFL, you're paid to win football games.
Yeah.
And Baker Mayfield, it was the good thing. It was the right thing to do for him to stand up and take ownership. And I mean, after getting your tail kicked, that's the only thing you can really do. But now it's time to go put in the work. Okay, you took ownership of not being successful this week.
Right.
Now go in there, put the work in so that you can be successful next week.
Well, we're going to find out. I mean, I don't know who the Browns play. I don't have their schedule in front of me, but it's safe to say that right now the biggest question to me is Freddie Kitchens, even more so than Odell and everybody. I think Freddie Kitchens, your penalties, I mean, even if you were scoring and not throwing that many interceptions, the penalties put you out of the game. I mean, what was it 180 yards and penalties? I mean, it was crazy.
Right.
How much they got penalized? I could be a little off. It might be like 110, or it might be like 87 or something.
No,
like that.
it was over 100. You were right.
But I remember, I remember it amounting to like it's either 118 or 180. It's something like that.
Well,
But
he should get back on the winning ways. You know, they're playing the Jets this week, and it's a good thing nobody thought the Jets could be a dark horse team.
yeah, you know what I've been saying? I've been going, look, here's the cool part about the Jets-Browns game. Somebody's gonna win.
Watch, I'll have a tie. We had a tie this week.
I was like, somebody's gonna win, like, right? It doesn't matter how bad these two teams are, somebody's going to probably win this game.
And how does that game get on Monday Night Football?
I think because they thought the Browns were going to be that much better this year. I think all the hype, everybody wanted to see Odell, Jarvis, Baker, and everything, and now the schedule's already made, and everybody's going, maybe I didn't want to see the Browns this year.
Yeah, geez, you know, the Bears Broncos would have been a better game to put on that.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the Saints Rams, that would have been a much better game. But
are you reading the schedule of the games this week?
Yeah.
Go down the list. Let's see who we got. Let's predict our winners and losers.
Okay.
Here.
All right. Let's
Bucks do this every week going forward now.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Bucks Panthers. I'll take the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Panthers.
And yeah, I just think the Cowboys and the Redskins. I think we're both going to probably take the Cowboys.
Yeah. Oh wait, it's at the Redskins though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be a closer game than usual, but I got Cowboys.
Well, it's a division game, and that's a great rivalry. Yeah, but I agree with you. I think the Cowboys win that one. Colts Titans.
I'm gonna go Titans. Titans look good.
Yeah, I'll probably take the Titans as well. They look good this past week.
Colts are in disarray.
Yeah. Steelers Seahawks. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh at home. It's a long trip out from Seattle.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh because I just think they're gonna bounce back from being humiliated. Yeah. I think they're gonna pull themselves together because of that.
Giants Bills.
We go Giants.
Yeah, it's in the Meadowlands. I think I'll probably take the Giants. Patriots Dolphins. Normally, this is like just based on talent, we would say the Patriots, but it's in Miami, and well, thankfully for the Patriots, they get that trip to Miami out of the way early, and it's not going to mess with them when it's cold in New England.
And I think what helps actually the Pats, this not be that normal cluster F that they run into with the Dolphins. Antonio Brown's going to throw a mix in there that the Dolphins probably quite weren't game planning for. Now all of a sudden they got to be like, all right. So I'm going with Pats.
Yeah.
Last year I picked the Dolphins.
Okay, Jaguars, Texans in Houston.
Texans.
Yeah. Vikings at the Packers. I like the Packers in Green Bay, yeah. The Lions hosting the Chargers. I'll go the Chargers. As Jay appears to be frozen again, I think I may be as well. Awesome. Oh, this is fun. Well, I don't know if anybody's still hearing me, but the 49ers and
to not pick the Packers.
Oh, jeez. Well, it still says we're doing output, so although I appear to be frozen. So I'll continue to read down and give you my choices. Let's see, the 49ers, Bengals. I'll take. You there?
Yeah. I don't know what happened. It just reset again.
I can't hear you, Jay. Sorry, Landry.
Can you hear me? Got me? No? Hold on. Am I here?
All right, yeah, here you are.
Okay. Yeah, I think my internet, it's stormy over here. It's like a hurricane, so I don't know what's going on. All right,
so
what are we in?
we're Chargers Lions.
Oh.
And it's in
I'm going to go with
Detroit.
Lions just because I like the color of the uniforms because I can't figure that one out.
Okay. I'm going to go Chargers just because I think they're the better team, so I think they'll win.
Oh, well, that's logical. I ain't doing
Yeah.
it. I'm doing
which is why we
uniform.
don't
I'm
do
doing
that.
fashion picks now.
All right. 49ers at the Bengals. That's going to be a beautiful game to watch.
I'm going to go Niners, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals win because the Bengals seem to have some momentum right now. Andy Dalton look really good.
Yeah, I'll tell you the Bengals. Just to be different, I guess.
Okay.
Arizona at Baltimore.
I'm going Baltimore, obviously.
Yeah, I would imagine this is a Ravens win.
Speaking of which, so what did you think of the quarterback of the Cardinals? Let's talk about Mr. 5'10" and 1/4 quarter or whatever they put on his sheet now.
Yeah, there's no way he's 5. If he's 5'10", I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks to me like he's more like a 5'8" guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the deal. I mean, what do you think about him? I personally don't think he's going to make it in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't either.
I just don't see it. And I see when he tries to break out and run, I see him getting caught by linebackers and stuff.
These guys are bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah, I think he can play ball. I just don't think he's going to end up being like an elite quarterback or anything. Okay, who else?
All right, so Chiefs at the Raiders. I'll take the Chiefs.
That's a rivalry game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Raiders. I think Raiders are picking up. I think Raiders got something behind them right now.
And we got some comments coming in by the old man. I guess commenting about how he's like, yeah, you're not 5'8". Exactly, which is why I'm saying Kyler Murray's not 5'10".
Nice.
Saints at the Rams.
I'm going Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like so far, you're mostly picking. It sounds like you're mostly going with home teams so far.
Yeah, and early on, it seems like that's the easiest road to go is just pick home teams.
Yeah, and when we got cut off earlier, one of the things, the one game we were talking about is it was Packers, whoever. And I said, look, anytime you're playing someone at Lambeau, and it's not, I'm going to mostly pick the Lambeau Field winner every time.
Yeah, it was the Vikings. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So next up, the Bears and Broncos. I think this is a get-right game for the Bears. I think Trubisky looks better. It's in Denver, but I think the Broncos are the Bears are going to go in and win that one.
I think the Broncos, man. I think the Broncos. Okay. I can't see them just being like folding twice.
And then the game everybody's looking forward to: Eagles-Falcons on Sunday Night Football.
I'm going Eagles.
I'm not making that long trip down there and predicting a loss. So
I can't stand Atlanta, the city, the people. I went through that place. I hated it. So I'm an Atlanta hater. And some of the people that came here to Houston to watch the Super Bowl, they were loud and like obnoxious, and I really hate them. So out of all the fans I've ever met, I can't stand Atlanta Falcons fans. So I'm definitely going to be rooting for the Eagles, which I know is crazy for a Cowboys fan. But hey, they're both birds, so I'll shoot one bird down and let the other live. And I'm going to go with the Falcons going down.
All right. And then Monday Night Football, the game everybody's got circled. Everybody can't wait. I'm hoping we're back from Atlanta in time to watch this one. It's the Browns and the Jets.
Let the dogs out. I'm going Browns.
Yeah, I'm going dog pound as well.
There's something, I guess because I've watched Hard Knocks and the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Woody as an owner of the Jets. I think there's something about him. To me, he's just weak. I don't see him as an owner who takes that team ever to a new level. I think until that team changes ownership at some point, or he lets go of control and hires a real head coach, like a legit head coach, pays them the real money. I just think the Jets are always going to be the Jets.
Yeah, and I wanted to believe in the progression of Sam Darnold and just the organization. Now they got a good running back there to help him out, which I think always helps a good young quarterback. And I wanted to buy into what the Jets were doing. But at the end of the day, they're still the freaking Jets.
Yeah, instead of the Bears, we got the Jets.
Yeah. So. Well, you know what Jets stands for, right? Just end the season.
That's wrong. All right. You should have faith in all NFL teams and faith in Jesus. I'm just kidding. I don't really care. So, so there we go. That's our predictions. And I think every week we should start ending the last 10 minutes with our picks for the
I
following.
think it's a good idea. That'll be a good thing to.
Yeah, because then we can kind of hold ourselves accountable. Maybe we'll start doing a point counter, and I can put it on the screen where how many wins does Eric have now? How many wins do I have? And whoever wins at the end of the year has to buy the other, I don't know, a lap dance or something, whatever floats boats around here. But or a new car. But that's only if I win, I get the car. I'll do the lap dance for you. Much cheaper, easier on my wallet. I favor things.
Yeah, I want to get that past the wife. Yeah, so Jay has to buy me a lap dance.
Exactly. But anyways, since we're on YouTube and this is age appropriate, I love Fisher Price toys, red, blue, and red. So wrap it up.
All right, guys. Well, normally this is the part of the show where I give you a happy football and a countdown to the season, but we are knee deep in it. And, no need to count down because I don't want to count down to the season being over. But everybody, look forward to seeing everyone next week. Make sure to check out everything on the Phillyverse. On Monday nights, you got the flagship show, a Football Smack Talk show. Tuesday nights, the broadcast with Ryan and Ryan. And then Wednesday nights right here, Mike Sports with me and Landry. This is the show you want to tune into.
A Dallas Cowboy and an Eagle fan and the same show. Tell me a show where that's possible. I am going to find one.
Yeah, and then Thursday nights, if you're into pro wrestling, check out the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs podcast. All this available on the soon to come to the website, Phillyverse.com. We're really looking forward. We're going to have articles. We're going to have links to all the shows. So anybody out there, if you're an aspiring writer, you're into trying to do some podcasting, hook up with one of us, hook up with Ryan, and we'll get you all set up on the site. So, Landry, anything to add before we head on out of here?
See you next week.
All right, guys. Have a good night.